The disco ball is spinning for an empty room of one. The glitter on the floor is all that's left of all the fun. The confetti's like the ashes of a fire we couldn't keep, while the city outside settles into something dark and deep. I'm still wearing the jacket that you draped across my back, but the fabric's getting heavy and the color's fading black. The band has packed their cases and the lights have turned to gold, but I'm standing in the static, feeling silver, feeling cold. I can still feel your fingers interlaced between my own, but the music's died away and I'm dancing here alone. What do you do after the last dance is done, when you're staring at the ghost of a long hidden sun? The rhythm has stopped and the melody's fled, leaving nothing but the always that we both should have said. It's the loneliest silence, it's the sharpest of stings, to be the only one left when the telephone rings. I'm walking to the exit, but my feet are made of lead, replaying every maybe and the never in my head. The car is in the driveway, but the engine won't ignite, just like the way we sputtered in the middle of the night. You're already home and you're already asleep, while I'm a secret that the moonlight's gonna keep. If I could hit the rewind, if I could start the song again, I'd hold you for a lifetime. I'd be more than just a friend, but the needles hit the center and the record started skipping, and I can feel the us we were slowly, slowly slipping. One last spin, one last breath, one last I'm sorry too, but the floor is wide and empty and it's missing you. What do you do after the last dance is done, when you're staring at the ghost of a long hidden sun? The rhythm has stopped and the melody's fled, leaving nothing but the always that we both should have said. It's the loneliest silence, it's the sharpest of stings, to be the only one left when the telephone rings. Click, 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 the lights are going out. One by one, the dance is finally over and I'm undone, just me and the echoes. After the last dance ends with a faint muffled trumpet melody that sounds like it's playing in another room. There was no glass against the wall, no thunder in the hall, just the sound of 1,000 never starting to fall. I opened my mouth to beg you to stay, but the air in my lungs turned to iron and gray. I watched a shadow retreat down the drive and felt the last spark of the us leave alive. The words are all jammed like a rusted out gears, burying the pride and the salt of the years. I thought I'd go screaming, I thought I'd go wild, but I'm standing here quiet as a lost, lonely child. I didn't break into pieces, I didn't break into tears, I didn't break the promises we kept for all those years. I just broke into silence, deep and profound, where the weight of the goodbye is the only thing found. No more I love you, no more wait for me, just a wide empty ocean where a heart used to be. Yeah, the loudest of endings is a heart that's gone quiet. I'm broken into silence, and I can't even fight it. The phone sits like a stone on the edge of the night, glowing with the ghost of a flickering light. I type out a message, then I hit delete, because the words feel like strangers I don't wanna meet. What do you say when the story is done? When the moon's just a memory of a long hidden sun. It's a different kind of shattered, a different kind of wreck, when you can't find a voice to put a rope around the neck of the pain that is choking the life out of me. In a house full of echoes I don't wanna see. I'm a library of secrets with the pages torn out, silent as the grave, riddled with doubt. I didn't break into pieces, I didn't break into tears, I didn't break the promises we kept for all those years. I just broke into silence, deep and profound, where the weight of the goodbye is the only thing found. No more I love you, no more wait for me, just a wide empty ocean where our heart used to be. Yeah, the loudest of endings is a heart that's gone quiet. I'm broken into silence, and I can't even fight it. Can you hear the heartbreak? It sounds like nothing, absolutely nothing, just me and the silence. I've got the punchline ready, I've got the perfect face, moving like a dancer through this crowded, hollow space. I'm the life of the party, I'm the light in the hall, but I'm leaning my weight against a paper-thin wall. If you look a little closer at the way I say hello, you might see the shadow that I'm trying not to show. I'm a master of the fight, I'm a pro at the okay, painting over bruises in the middle of the day. But the gloss is getting thinner and the porcelain is cold, and I'm struggling to carry what I'm not allowed to hold. Oh, there are cracks beneath the smile, like a frozen lake in spring, and I'm terrified of what the heavy truth might bring. I'm a stained glass window held together by a lie, looking for a shelter underneath a neon sky. One more, how are you? And the glass is gonna break. I'm shivering in pieces for everyone's sake. Yeah, the widest of grins is just a mile of denial, hiding all the cracks right beneath the smile. I go home to the silence, and I take the mask away. It's heavy as a mountain at the closing of the day. I see the jagged edges in the mirror on the door. The person that I'm playing doesn't live here anymore. Every laugh was a stitch, every joke was a seal, to keep the world from seeing how I actually feel. What if I stopped pretending? What if I let it fall? Would anybody catch me or just stare at the wall? I'm exhausted from the acting, from the makeup and the light, from being perfectly fine in the middle of the fight. But the world loves a winner, and the world loves a glow. So I'll put on the costume and I'll put on the show. There are cracks beneath the smile, like a frozen lake keys are on the hook where you left them to stay, but they don't make a sound in the middle of the day. I'm reaching for the air where your waist used to be, but I'm just catching shadows of a ghost I can't see. The weight of the ice was a heavy, sweet stone. Now I'm shivering under a sky of my own. I used to hold the world in the palm of my hand, back when you always was easy to understand. But the fingers are curling, I'm nothing but cold, and I'm dropping the stories I used to be told. Oh, I've got empty hands tonight and a heart made of glass, watching the ghost of our forever just pass. No fingers to erase, no skin to ignite, just the hollowed out rhythm of the middle of the night. I was holding the sun, I was holding the light, but I'm left with just empty hands tonight. I'm tracing the patterns in the grain of the wood, trying to remember if I did all I could. My palms feel like lead and my wrists feel like wire, since I lost the warmth of the flickering fire. How do you carry your soul through the dark when you're missing the touch that provided the spark? I'd give up the moon and I'd give up the sea to have just a second of you next to me. But the space in my grip is a canyon so wide, with nowhere to run and with nowhere to hide. I'm reaching for nothing, I'm grasping at gone as I wait for the weight of a colorless dawn. Oh, I've got empty hands tonight and a heart made of glass, watching the ghost of our forever just pass. No fingers to interlace, no skin to ignite, just the hollowed out rhythm of the middle of the night. I was holding the sun, I was holding the light, but I'm left with just empty hands tonight. Nothing to hold, nothing to keep, falling to pieces before I can sleep. Just the air, and we're not quite there. Empty hands tonight. Empty hands tonight. I think I'm standing on the dry land for a while. I find a way to breathe, I even find a way to smile. The salt is off my skin and the sky is turning clear. I tell myself the worst of it is finally out of here, but then I see a stranger with the way you used to walk, or I hear a ghost of us inside the way the people talk. And the horizon starts to shimmer, the blue begins to rise. I can feel the heavy pressure building up behind my eyes. It's not a steady rain, no, it's a sudden pulling tide, and there's nowhere on the shoreline left for me to hide. Oh, it comes in waves, it comes in crashing rolls, heartache and waves. grasping for the oxygen of life without you now. But the undertow is stronger than any never vow. The morning is a ripple, but the evening is a flood. I can feel the cold Atlantic moving through my blood. I'm checking for the lighthouse, but the light is gone to sleep. And the secrets of the always are the ones I have to keep. They say the tide goes out so the shore can find its peace, but the water's getting higher and I'm looking for release. I'm a message in a bottle that's been shattered on the rocks, trying to find the forever that the ocean always marks. It's the coming and the going, the almost getting dry before the wall of water hits the center of the wide. Oh, it comes in waves, it comes in crashing rolls, heart-aching waves that take their heavy tolls. Just when I'm steady, just when I'm brave, I'm pulled back under by another hollow wave. It's a rhythmic kind of torture, a beautiful blue pain, drowning in the memory, then coming up again. Wait for the surf, here it comes again. Wait for the earth to remember when I'm just a drifter in the heartache wave. With a wash of white noise, like the sound of the ocean mixing with the fading piano melody. I walked into the kitchen and I braced for the sound of your keys on the counter or your feet on the ground. I was ready for the friction, for the where have you been, for the sharp jagged edges of the state we were in. But the air was like a vacuum, it was polished and dry. Not a breath, not a murmur, not even a sigh. I shouted your name just to hear the walls talk, but the echoes died out before they could walk. I turned up the radio, but songs were all hollow, like a pill made of static that I couldn't quite swallow. And then I heard it, I heard the silence, louder than a riot, more heartless than violence. It wasn't the peace that I thought I would find, it was the sound of the ghost you left trailing behind. It's the scream of the spaces where you used to be. I heard the silence, and it's deafening me. The clock on the mantle is a hammer on wood, doing all of the talking that we never could. I'm checking the phone just to see if it's dead, but it's just the quiet leaking into my head. Every we'll talk tomorrow, and every I'm fine is gathered in the corners like a thick dusty vine. If you'd only yelled, if you'd only been loud, I could have seen the lightning inside of the cloud. But you left without a word, not a sorry or a stay. You just let the volume fade slowly away. Now the quiet is a fever, it's a ringing in my ears, the sound of a heart that's been empty for years. And then I heard it, I heard the silence, louder than a riot, more heartless than violence. It wasn't the peace that I thought I would find, bridge we didn't cross, I finally heard the sound of the lost. Finish with a sharp, abrupt cut off of all sound. I'm looking at the kitchen chair where you used to lean. Before the us we were became the this in between. I'm staring at the messages from 3 years ago, when the good nights were easy and I always would glow. Now I'm walking through a house that's been stripped of the heat, listening for a rhythm that no longer will be. It's not that I want you, it's the ghost that I crave, the one who was certain, the one who was brave. Before the first light turned the silver to rust, and the castle we built started turning to dust. Oh, I miss before the how are yous felt like a chore, before we started keeping a tally and a score. I miss the way your name used to taste like a prayer, instead of this heavy cold weight in the air. I don't miss the ending, I don't miss the war, I just miss the us, I just miss before. I passed the old cafe where we sat in the light, before we learned how to be wrong and be right. Back when your touch was a spark, not a habit, and forever was a star, and we both tried to grab it. Now I'm checking my pulse in the middle of the night, wondering when the okay became not quite right. If I could find the door to the yesterday's sun, I'd go back to the second before we were undone. I'd tell that girl to hold on a little bit tight to the version of you that didn't want to fight. But the now is a mirror that's cracked in the middle, and why did it change is a heartbreaking riddle. Oh, I miss before the how are yous felt like a chore, before we started keeping a tally and a score. I miss the way your name used to taste like a prayer, instead of this heavy cold weight in the air. I don't miss the ending, I don't miss the war, I just miss the us, I just miss before. Take me back to the hollow in the wall, before we built the wall. Before we built the wall, I miss the feeling of not needing to heal, I just miss before. The paint is peeling on the walls we used to color in. I'm wearing out the carpet where your shadow's always been. I've memorized the cracks across the ceiling and the floor, waiting for a version of you that doesn't live here anymore. The neighbors move, the seasons bled from gold to bitter gray, and I'm the only piece of furniture that didn't move away. I thought the loyalty was staying through the rain, but I was just a masochist addicted to the pain. I waited for a thank you or a reason to believe, but I missed past the exit sign that told me I should leave. Oh, I stayed too long. I let the garden turn to weeds, trying to harvest flowers from a handful of dead seeds. I stayed until the always felt like a heavy iron chain. I stayed until I didn't even recognize my name. Now the door is wide open, but my heart is gone numb. I'm a ghost in a hallway, waiting for a light to come. Yeah, I stayed way too long. The candles burned down to the glass and cracked under the heat, and I'm still sitting at a table with an empty seat. You left a trail of crumbs that led to nowhere in the dark, and I followed every one of them until I lost my spark. It's not a romantic story, it's not a tragic meant to be. It's just a girl who stayed until she lost her memory. I should've left when the first light tasted like a bitter pill. I should've left when the I love you started feeling still. But I was building monuments out of shifting desert sand, holding on to water with a trembling open hand. Now the sun is going down and the house is getting cold, and I'm just a story that stayed far too long being told. Oh, I stayed too long. I let the garden turn to weeds, trying to harvest flowers from a handful of dead seeds. I stayed until they always felt like a heavy iron chain. I stayed until I didn't even recognize my name. Now the door is wide open, but my heart is gone numb. I'm a ghost in a hallway, waiting for a light to come. Yeah, I stayed way too long. The keys are on the table, the dust is on the sill. I'm finally leaving, but I'm standing here still. I stayed too long. I stayed too long. I stayed too long. The sun hits the dashboard at that certain slant of light, the one that usually meant we'd be staying up all night. I hit the voice command before my brain can catch the slip. Your name is like a prayer that's always sitting on my lip. The phone starts, it's humming the familiar little song before I realize the us and this is finally gone. It's a muscle memory, it's a glitch inside the ghost of the version of the me that I used to love the most. My thumb knows the pattern, my heart knows the beat, even when I'm standing on a cold and empty street. Ooh, I still call, I still reach for the air, hoping for a signal that isn't even there. I'm talking to the static, I'm whispering to none, like a flower that is searching for a long forgotten sun. I know you've changed the number, I know you've closed the door, but I still call like I did before. I saw a movie trailer and I went to send the link. I'm standing at the edge of it, trying not to blink. I've got 1,000 stories piled up like winter wood, waiting for the day that I never understood. I'm a radio station playing to an empty room, broadcasting my secrets into the coming doom. Is it a haunting or is it just a habit? A silver-threaded dream and I'm trying to grab it. I should've deleted the contact, I should've cleared the cache, but I'm sifting through the embers, looking for a flash. One more subscriber is unavailable today, is the only way I know how to pass the time away. Oh, I still call, I still reach for the air, hoping for a signal that isn't even there. I'm talking to the static, I'm whispering to none, like a flower that is searching for a long forgotten sun. I know you've changed the number, I know you've closed the door, but I still call like I did before. Ring, 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 the loudest sound I know. Ring, 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 the way I let you go. The person you are trying to reach, yeah, I know I still call.
And with the digital beep of a disconnected line, followed by a sudden, dry silence.
The seasons held a meeting and decided to move on. The gold went to the gutter and the summer heat is gone. I watch the neighbors pack their cars and trade their keys for new, but I'm still standing sentry in a house that smells of you. Common sense was screaming and the logic was a roar, but I was busy listening for your footsteps at the door. They say a heart that's broken should be smart enough to run, but mine is just a shadow that's addicted to the sun. I knew the bridge was hollow, I knew the lake was thin, but I walked out to the center just to see if you'd come in. Oh, I waited it anyway, through the static and the snow, through the better off without him, and the learn to let it go. I built a shrine and maybe in the middle of the dark, protecting every ember, praying for a spark. It wasn't bravery, it wasn't even faith, it was just me waiting for a beautiful rave. I let the mail pile up until the porch was out of sight, a paper wall defenses against the coming of the night. My friends stopped calling sorry, now they just don't call at all, because they can't stand the echo of me staring at the wall. I'm a pilot in a cockpit with no engine and no sky, still checking every radar for a flicker of a why. If I could give the me back then a warning or a sign, I'd tell her that the always wasn't yours and wasn't mine. But there's a sick kind of comfort in staying in the pain and being the only person who was standing in the rain. I didn't want the healing, I didn't want the new, I just wanted the forever that I thought I had with you. Through the static and the snow, through the to black. I guess I finally realized that you're never coming back. But I waited. Yeah, I waited anyway. I'm shouting your name in a room full of glass, but the sound doesn't echo, it just lets me pass. You're sitting across from me, eyes like a lake, frozen and still for our memory's sake. I'm checking for signals, a pulse or a spark, but I'm just a pilot lost in the dark. I take and I hate you, I take a goodbye over the static white colorless sky. You're a radio station that's drifted away, leaving me trapped in the frequency of gray. Lost in the silence of you. I'm reading your body like a book with no ink, standing on the edge of a cliff, trying not to blink. You're moving through the kitchen like a ghost in a dream, while I'm the only one is a piece that you found, or a weapon you've made, to leave me shivering in the depth of a shade. If you'd only speak, I could find my way back to the us that we buried under the track. But the quiet is a border, it's a wall, it's a cage, and I'm just a character stuck on the page. How can a heart be so incredibly loud while you're staying silent and perfectly proud? Oh, I'm lost in your silence, I'm drowning in none, searching for shadows of a long hidden sun. It's a heavy metal quiet, it's a ringing in my ears, the loudest get out that I've heard in these years. No map and no compass, no star in the blue. I'm just lost in the silence of you. Can you hear the nothing? It's pulling me under, just a ghost of a word that was never even heard. Lost in your silence. The floorboards didn't creak, the windows didn't shake. There was no sudden fever or a heart about to break, just a slow, steady leaking of the light garden losing color just before the winter bloom. We're sitting on the sofa, just a foot of space between, but it felt like an ocean that we never learned to swim. I waited for the thunder, I waited for the rain, I waited for the screaming just to justify the pain. But the air stayed heavy and the clock kept ticking on. I didn't even notice that the us in us was gone. Oh, love fell quietly, it didn't make a sound. It didn't leave a footprint on this hollowed out ground. No slamming of the doors, no tears left to cry, just a soft silver static where we used to have a sky. It wasn't a wildfire, it wasn't a crash, it was just a candle turning slowly into ash. I'm looking at your picture and I'm looking for the when they always turn to maybe and then never again. Was it in the way you started leaving out my name, or the way my touch felt like a ghost you couldn't tame? We're two people in a hallway, polite and perfectly still, walking past the ghost of a love we couldn't fill. They write the songs about the anger and the storm, but no one warns you how it feels when the bed stays warm, but the heart stays freezing in the middle of the night because the fire didn't die, it just ran out of light. No battle, no bruises, no lessons to be learned, just the quiet realization that the bridge is already burned. Oh, love fell quietly, it didn't make a sound. It didn't leave a footprint on this hollowed out ground. No slamming of the doors, no tears left to cry, just a soft silver static where we used to have a sky. It wasn't a wildfire, it wasn't a crash, it was just a candle turning slowly into ash. Shh, can you hear it? The sound of nothing left to say. It fell so quietly, it just drifted away. We only exist when the street lamps flicker on. Two silhouettes waiting for the safety of the dawn. In the daylight we're strangers passing on the street with a polite little nod and a heart that skips a beat. But when the sun dips low and the shadows start to creep, we're the only two awake while the city is asleep. I'm tired of the whispers, I'm tired of the not yet, of playing a game, and I'm starting to regret we're a masterpiece hidden in a basement out of sight. Valuable and beautiful but terrified of light. Oh, we're just a love in the dark, a fire with no smoke, a secret that we're keeping until one of us is broke. We're hiding in the corners, we're dancing in the black, knowing that the morning is always coming back. It's a heavy kind to the sands, back to the grave. Just a love in the dark, just a love in the dark. And with the low vibrating bass note that slowly dissolves into a whisper. I'm looking at the person in the mirror on the wall, and I don't see the girl you used to carry through the hall. The laughter's got a static and the light has gone to gray. I'm a different kind of weather than the one you knew in May. You're holding on to photos of a ghost you used to kiss, but the version of me standing here is someone you would miss. It's a cruel kind of hunger, it's a hollow kind of ache, to be loved for the was instead of what I have to make. You're searching for the spark that we buried in the yard, while I'm just trying to breathe and I'm trying so damn hard. Oh, you love me then, you love that used to be the once upon a time and the perfect version of me, but you don't love the now and you don't love the break. You don't love the pieces that were left in your wake. It's a beautiful museum, but the doors are all locked tight. You love me then, but you're leaving me tonight. You tell me that you miss the way I used to say your name, but my voice is full of shadows and it's never gonna feel the same. You want the girl who didn't know how heavy us could get, the one who hadn't learned the bitter taste of a regret. But you can't have the sunrise without the coming of the dark, and you can't have the forest if you're terrified of the spark. If I could peel the years away and be that girl again, would you stay for the always or just be a remember when? I'm a living, breathing person, not a memory on a shelf, but I'm losing to the shadow of my former better self. You're in love with a ghost, you're in love with a dream, and I'm just a silence at the end of the stream. Oh, you love me then, you love that used to be the once upon a time and the perfect version of me, but you don't love the now and you don't love the break. You don't love the pieces that were left in your wake. It's a beautiful museum, but the doors are all locked tight. You love me then, but you're leaving me tonight. Back to the I'll stay in the gray. Go stay in the gray that you threw away. I'm not her anymore, I'm just a girl after the war. You love me then. I'm walking through the hallway of the house we used to own, but the air is made of static and the walls are made of stone. The pictures in the frames have all been tilted to the side, like they're trying to find a corner where the memories can hide. I'm sitting at the table where we laughed until we cried, but the kitchen is a desert and the reservoir is dry. I'm reaching for the always, but I'm catching only gone, like a runner who is chasing a long forgotten dawn. The maps have all been written, the stars have been rearranged, and I'm standing in the center of a world that's been exchanged. Oh, it's nothing like before. The colors are all wrong. The silence is a heavy, heavy, heartbreaking song. The keys don't fit the lock, and the fire doesn't burn. It's a lesson in the leaving that I didn't wanna learn. The us we were is buried underneath the kitchen floor, and everything I look at is nothing like before. I saw you at the market, and I went to say your name, but your eyes were like a winter that had put out every flame. You didn't even flinch, you didn't even blink, as I watched the ship we built together slowly, slowly sink. We're talking about the weather and the traffic and the rain, like two strangers on a platform for a ghost-driven train. If I could find the doorway to the life we used to lead, I'd give up every maybe just to plant a single seed. But the ground is made of concrete, and the sun is made of ice, and forever was a gamble where we threw the loaded dice. Now I'm a tourist in a city that I used to call my home, searching for a heartbeat in a gallery of chrome. It's nothing like before. The colors are all wrong. The silence is a heavy, heavy, heartbreaking song. The keys don't fit the lock, and the fire doesn't burn. It's a lesson in the leaving that I didn't wanna learn. The us we were is buried underneath the kitchen floor, and everything I look at is nothing like before. It's different now. It's different now. Can't let the maybe just a shadow on the wall, where the always used to be nothing like before. And with a muffled lo-fi piano melody, sounds like it's being played through a distant wall. There wasn't a snap, there wasn't a break, no sudden tremor or a massive earthquake. Just a slow, steady slip of the ground from my feet, like a shadow retreating on a midsummer street. I'm reaching for edges that used to be there, but my fingers are closing on handfuls of air. I thought I'd feel the impact, I thought I'd feel the sting, but there's a strange kind of mercy in a shattering thing. When the gravity lets go and the world loses grip, and you're watching the horizon start to tremble and dip. Oh, I'm I love yous were blurry and smeared by the rain. There goes the kitchen where we danced in the light. There goes the porch where we ended the fight. It's a long way to the bottom when you've got nothing to hold, and the air on the way down is bitter and cold. Maybe living will finally be loud. Maybe I'll wake up on the tops of the clouds, but for now it's just circles, it's just drifting away in a slow motion spiral of blue and of gray. I'm not fighting the wind, I'm not trying to fly. I'm just a beautiful wreck in a colorless skies. Oh, I'm quietly falling down, no scream in the dark, just a silent descent of a dying little spark. I'm a leaf in the alley, I'm a feather in the rain, floating through the hollow, empty hallways of the pain. No one hears the crash when the heart hits the floor, 'cause I'm quietly falling. I'm not the anymore. So far to go down, where the heavy winds blow. Don't wait for the sound, I'm already on the ground, quietly The desk is covered in the ghosts of things I didn't say. Ink-stained confessions that I'm folding tucked away. I'm trying to be careful with the way I use the pen, tracing out the always that won't happen once again. The stamp is sitting ready like a heavy leading weight, final tiny anchor for a love that's arrived too late. I could've used a shot and I could've used the blame, but I'm writing out your beauty and I'm whispering your name. It's a mercy in the cursive, it's a blessing in the blue. The hardest part of leaving is being kind to you. Oh, these are soft goodbye letters written in the dark, trying to heal the tissue while I'm putting out the spark. No jagged, broken edges, no I hate you on the page. Just a bird that's finally singing as it leaves the golden cage. It's a quiet kind of heartbreak, a velvet covered sting, when a soft goodbye letter is the only song I sing. I'm mentioning the coffee and the way you used to sleep, the little secret promises I know you're gonna keep. I'm tucking in a memory of a Sunday in the park, before the world got heavy and the sun became a spark. I'm sealing up the envelope with a trembling steady hand, like I'm burying a treasure in the shifting desert sand. If I had used the anger, maybe I could stay. Maybe I could fight the wind and keep the ghost at bay. But the kindness is a mountain that I can't quite climb across, and the elegance of sorry is the measure of the loss. So I'm letting go of us with a stroke of midnight ink, standing on the shoreline trying not to blink. Oh, these are soft goodbye letters written in the dark, trying to heal the tissue while I'm putting scribble. The pen is running dry. Don't ask me why. One last I love you before I say goodbye. Soft goodbye letter with the sound of a pen being clicked and a letter being slid across a wooden table. I haven't changed the passcode on the digital lock. I'm still living in the rhythm of a frozen clock. The porch light is burning a hole in the night, a desperate little beacon, a flickering sight. I keep the left side of the vanity clear, just in case you wake up and you're suddenly here. Every phantom vibration of the phone on the wood is a maybe she's calling that I understood. I know that the logic says you've moved along, but my heart is a record that's stuck on our song. Oh, I'm still waiting for you in the middle of the rain, in the quietest corners of the localized pain. I'm a lighthouse keeper on a shore with no ships, with the ghost of your forever still wet on my lips. They say that it's over, they say that I'm through, but I'm standing in the doorway, still waiting for you. I saw a car like yours at the light yesterday, and for 3 seconds flat, all the gray went away. I caught myself rehearsing what I'd say to your face, how I've kept every memory in its own little place. I'm a museum of us, I'm a gallery of when, just waiting for the artist to come back again. Is it hope or is it poison that I'm drinking tonight, to stay in the shadow and avoid the new light? I'm a house with the windows all boarded and tight, refusing to believe that you've slipped out of sight. I'd rather be lonely and waiting for gold than to settle for silver and do what I'm told. Oh, I'm still waiting for you in the middle of the rain, in the quietest corners of the localized pain. I'm a lighthouse keeper on a shore with no ships, with the ghost of your forever still wet on my lips. They say that it's over, they say that I'm through, but I'm standing in the doorway, still waiting for you. The seasons are shifting, but I'm staying still. The colors are drifting against my own will. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still right here, waiting for you. When with the soft repeating piano chord that sounds like a heartbeat slowing down. The sky was a bruise, a deep shade of blue, the kind of morning that didn't feel new. We were standing in the kitchen, just an arm's length apart, but I could already feel the hairline fracture in my heart. You were stirring your tea, looking down at the steam, while I was watching the edges fray off of our dream. There wasn't a catalyst, no match in the hay, just the slow, heavy weight of the words we didn't say. I reached for your shoulder, but you leaned to the left. A sudden, sharp silence, a heart-shaped theft. it disappears. The sun was bleeding out across the kitchen floor, a golden light that didn't feel like sunshine anymore. We'd reached the part where all the arguments were through, where there was nothing left to blame and nothing left to do. You stood there with your coat on, leaning by the shelf, while I was trying hard to keep the pieces of myself. I expected fire, I expected a sting, but you didn't throw a stone or a bitter, jagged thing. Instead, you reached across the space we couldn't mend and spoke to me like someone who was still my only friend. And it was the last soft word that finally broke my heart, not the yelling or the distance or the tearing us apart. It was the take care of yourself whispered in the hall that hit me like a hammer and made the ceiling fall. I could have fought the anger, I could have survived the cold, but the last soft word was the hardest one to hold. You looked at me with pity mixed with something like regret, a face I'm terrified I'm never gonna quite forget. No, I hate you, no, I'm sorry for the mess we made. Just a gentle be happy as the colors started to fade. A kindness can be lethal when it's used to say goodbye. It's like a velvet curtain dropping down across the sky. If you had cursed my name, I could have walked away with pride. I could have built a fortress with the bitterness inside. But how do I stay angry? How do I stay strong when you're being so sweet while you're proving me so wrong? That final good night sounded just like a prayer, leaving me with nothing but the thin, empty air. And it was the last soft word that finally broke my heart, not the yelling or the distance or the tearing us apart. It was the take care of yourself whispered in the hall that hit me like a hammer and made the ceiling fall. I could have fought the anger, I could have survived the cold, but the last soft word was the hardest one to hold. Be safe, you said, and then you were gone. The softest sound, the longest dawn, just a whisper in the doorway. The last soft word. The moon was hanging sideways like a question in the dark. We were parked out by the water where we used to find a spark. But your hands stayed on the wheel like they were frozen to the leather. And for the first time in 3 years, we weren't in this together. You were looking straight ahead at a road I couldn't see, and I realized the person in the seat wasn't looking for me. There wasn't a warning, no sirens in the air, just a sudden sharp stillness in the way you brush your hair. I reached for your ghost, but the skin was too cold. It's the loudest goodbye that's ever been told. Oh, I watched the light go out behind your eyes. I saw the truth start wearing a stranger's disguise. It wasn't a breakup, it was a slow motion blur. The you that I loved became the you that you were. The stars didn't fall and the world stayed arranged, but everything died on the night you changed. You spoke about the weather and the things you had to do, but your voice sounded hollow, like a recording of you. I was searching for a flicker, a glitch, or a sign that you were still the boy who used to call me mine. But you laughed at a joke that wasn't even funny, and your heart felt like a house with no furniture or money. I wanted to fight it, I wanted to scream, to wake you up from this hollow-eyed dream. But how do you argue with a soul that's departed? How do you finish what's already started to end? I was losing my lover, I was losing my friends, and I couldn't find the break that I needed to mend. Oh, I watched the light go out behind your eyes. I saw the truth start wearing a stranger's disguise. It wasn't a breakup, it was a slow motion blur. The you that I loved became the you that you were. The stars didn't fall and the world stayed arranged, but everything died on the night you changed. You drove me home and you stayed in the car, close enough to touch, but a million miles far. The porch light was flickering, and I was just lingering, knowing I'd never see you again. Not the you from before. It wasn't a scream and it wasn't a shout. It was the hum of the light bulb finally going out, the metallic slide of a key on the wood, the click of a latch where a promise once stood. I'm counting the inches of air in the hall as the gravity shifts and the shadows get tall. I thought it would be thunder, I thought it would be rain, something loud enough to drown out the pulse of the pain. But it's a low frequency hum, a hollow vibration, the sudden sharp end of a long conversation. Oh, have you ever heard the sound of leaving? It's the intake of breath when you've stopped believing. It's the rustle of a coat, the gravel under a tire, the crackle of the wood when you run out of fire. It's not a bang, it's a whisper in the hall, the sound The hangers are clinking in the closet upstairs, singing a dirge to the ghosts of our care. The floorboards are exhaling, losing your weight, relieved that they're finished with the love and the hate. I'm standing in the kitchen, paralyzed and still, while the silence is climbing up the windowsill. If you'd slammed the door, I could have hated the noise, I could have blamed the anger and the breaking of toys. But you closed it so softly, you closed it with care, like you were afraid of disturbing the air. And that's the part that's killing me the most, the polite little exit of a beautiful ghost. Oh, have you ever heard the sound of leaving? It's the intake of breath when you stop believing. It's the rustle of a coat, the gravel under a tire, the crackle of the wood when you run out of fire. It's not a bang, it's a whisper in the hall, the sound of a heart hitting a brick wall. Yeah, the loudest thing I've ever heard is the space between your very last words.